In the previous video, I talked about the carb conspiracy and how there is circumstantial economic loop to whereas the government and the economy incentivizes carbohydrates, which is why when you go grocery shopping and you look at the cereal aisle and the potato chip aisle or the chips aisle, whatever, popcorn, whatever you may have you, and even the snack aisle, those aisles are massive and completely dedicated to just that one product, right? That one product type. And for you, it's a benefit to you, right? Oh, we got all these snacks and all these sweets and all these yummy. But if you know better, you do better, right? And so because of this carb conspiracy, this leads me to talking about sugar addiction. And so now you would think, well, if there's a conspiracy to push carbs into the economy because it's more profitable than protein, then there's a conspiracy to keep people addicted to sugar, right? And yes, there is. In the previous video, I also talked about a fat equation, whereas corporate scientists, they get paid to conjure up the perfect equation and the perfect proportion of carbohydrates in any particular food product or meal to keep you fat, to keep you addicted to the carbohydrates or addicted to the sugar. So now in this video, I want to hone in on the effects of sugar addiction. I want to hone in on the effects of sugar addiction, how long to stabilize your mood after quitting, and why sugar cravings feel so emotional and not physical per se, and how to break sugar dependence. I want to talk about how to break sugar dependence without willpower. All right. So the effects of sugar addiction. Let's go straight in and not waste any time. Sugar addiction directly messes with your mood because it hijacks the same brain systems involved in motivation, pleasure, and emotional regulation. Here's how it actually plays out. So number one, dopamine spikes. Dopamine spikes lead to emotional crashes. So dopamine is, back in the day, they used to say, oh, you smoke dope. They called it dope because those particular drugs would trigger the dopamine hormone. This is all neurochemistry. This is we going deep. All right. So dopamine is the pleasure hormone. You know what I mean? Dopamine is not necessarily what you feel when you fall in love, but dopamine is what you feel when you have sex. You see what I'm saying? And so, there's a saying, I have a particular comfort food, right? Well, why is it comforting for you to eat that? It's because it's spiking your dopamine. So that dopamine spike causes emotional crashes. Sugar causes a rapid dopamine surge, the quote-unquote feel-good chemical, like I just explained. The problem, it drops just as fast. So you're always chasing the dragon, as drug addicts like to say. It leads to irritability, low motivation, anxiety, emotional flatness, and cravings that feel like something is wrong. So basically, it makes you an asshole. It makes you an asshole. Over time, your brain becomes less sensitive to dopamine, meaning you feel less pleasure from normal life unless sugar is involved. So becoming a sugar addict makes you not only does it make you an asshole, but it makes you an addict, period. Because drug addicts are the same way. This is crazy. So number two. So the first one is dopamine spikes lead to emotional crashes. Number two, blood sugar swings equal mood swings. So when your so not just dopamine, but the blood sugar now we're paying attention to blood sugar. When your blood sugar spikes, your mood begins to swing. So high sugar leads to insulin spikes, leads to blood sugar crash. I think I want to do another video on the importance of insulin and how insulin works in the body. I don't think people have broken that down enough. Insulin spikes, insulin management, because your body needs insulin, but it only needs but so much of it. And when it has too much insulin, that's where you get those dark spots around the neck and the cheek on your face. That is very, and it takes a while to get that way, but for some people, according to their health and their lifestyle, that's very easy to achieve, unfortunately, right? But high sugar leads to insulin spikes, leads to blood sugar crashes. The crash causes fatigue, brain fog, anger or impatience, depressive feelings, or poor focus. So not only does sugar addiction turn you into an asshole because of the dopamine spikes, but then it makes you lazy. So now you're a lazy asshole. I'm sorry. But this is science. This is the reality. Fatigue, brain fog, anger or impatience, depressive feelings, and poor focus. That's crazy. This is why people feel hangry or emotionally unstable after sugary meals. And I want to, I want to stop here before I go into the next part, number 3. I think with and targeting black people. Yes, I'm gonna go there. With our culture being so woven with trauma, or ingratiated with trauma, and or being built upon trauma, you got to think you have trauma and then sugar addiction. So you have people who are riddled with trauma, and then they're addicted to sugar. So now they're riddled with trauma. They're becoming assholes, and then they're lazy. Like how much more stereotypical can this be? Or I should say, what is the origin of this stereotype? We're peeling the layers here. We're going deep. It's gonna hurt. I'm sorry. Not sorry. So number 1 is the dopamine spikes lead to emotional crashes. Number 2, blood sugar swings equal mood swings. Number 3, increased anxiety and stress hormones. Frequent sugar intake increases cortisol, the stress hormone, adrenal fatigue, and nervous system overstimulation. So this is why sugar addicted people sleep so much. If you're always stressed, and then you're low on adrenaline, so you first of all you're metabolically an asshole because you're irritable, you have low motivation, anxiety, so on, and then you're lazy because you have fatigue and brain fog and depressive feelings. So now all of this combined spikes your cortisol, stress hormone. I think, you know what, cortisol and insulin. Yes, I need to write that down. Cortisol and insulin. So yeah, it spikes your cortisol. So now not only are you mentally lazy, now you become physically lazy, or just physiologically lazy altogether. Adrenal fatigue. So like adrenaline is the, I guess the hype hormone. When someone feels like amped up and hyped and like, turned up, that's a turn up hormone, and if you're low on that, it's hard for you to really turn up. You know what I'm saying? You don't really turn up at all, really. You know what I mean? It's like it's bad. And then nervous system overstimulation. So if you're overstimulated, you say, whoa, back, this is too much. I'm going to sleep. I can't take this, right? This is very important. It's very important to understand the science behind this. You know what I mean? Then you can't argue it, So yeah. So where were we? So yeah, cortisol, stress hormone, adrenal. So number 3, increased anxiety and stress hormones. Frequent sugar intake increases cortisol, adrenal fatigue, nervous system overstimulation. This mimics anxiety disorders and makes stress feel harder to handle. So if you want to overcome depression, basically you got to overcome sugar addiction. I really think that's for most people. I really think that's what it is. I really think that's what it is. I remember the rapper from 3 6 Mafia. I think Paul something, DJ Paul. He said, I don't mean to laugh. He said sugar addiction was harder to break than coke. I'm sorry. He said that's crazy. That's crazy. So number 1, dopamine spikes lead to emotional crashes. Number 2, blood sugar swings equal mood swings. Number 3, increased anxiety and stress hormones. Number 4, sugar addiction worsens depression over time. Chronic sugar use increases inflammation, linked to depression, disrupts gut bacteria because bacteria feed off of sugar, right? And so the good bacteria isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing because it's too busy consuming sugar. Or the bad bacteria feed off of sugar, so now you have a bad gut. Affects, and yes, a lot of people don't know there's good bacteria and bad bacteria. You think of bacteria, you think it's just bad altogether, right? But no. There's good bacteria and then there's bad bacteria. Disrupts gut bacteria, affects serotonin production. So serotonin. So I said dopamine is the hormone you feel when you have sex. Serotonin is the hormone you feel when you're in love. You know what I mean? Or when you think you're in love. But yeah, and so the gut. See, this is a whole nother topic. We could go down the rabbit hole with this one too. The gut health is very important to your hormone regulation altogether. So let's say you're consuming a lot of sugar and the bad bacteria is feeding off of that sugar and overdeveloping in your gut, and it's weakening the good bacteria in your gut. And so now the hormones in your body have to overcompensate, and your organs have to overcompensate. Certain hormones trigger certain organs. So there's adrenal glands, there's hormones in the liver, hormones in the pancreas. I need a diagram. I wish I had something up. But yeah. And so when you have so much bad bacteria in your gut because of so much sugar, now those hormones have to regulate, and those cells have to regulate and compete with the bad bacteria. And so now, so people who are sugar addicted, not only are they assholes and they're lazy and they're depressed all the time, they find it hard to fall in love. Now they find it hard to fall. Like this is all like I'm going from the inside out. A lot of people go from the outside in. I'm going from the inside out. So it increases inflammation linked to depression, disrupts gut bacteria, and affects serotonin production, reduces emotional resilience. So you're always in your feelings. So not only are you an asshole and you lazy and you depressed, but now you always in your feelings. And nobody want to fuck with you. Like this is, oh my God. The brain literally becomes worse at regulating mood. You're a Krabby Patty. Sugar addiction makes you a Krabby Patty. This is terrible. All right, so let's recap again. Number one, sugar addiction causes dopamine spikes that lead to emotional crashes. Number two, sugar addiction causes blood sugar swings, which create mood swings. Number three, sugar addiction increases anxiety and stress hormones. Number four, sugar addiction worsens depression over time. Number five, sugar addiction creates addiction-like behavior. So sugar addiction shows the same pattern as drugs: cravings, loss of control, mood swings when deprived, and temporary relief followed by guilt or lethargy, being lazy pretty much, right? That emotional roller coaster can destabilize the mood long term. It destabilizes the mood long term. So the bottom line, no pun intended, no sugarcoating, right? If someone eats sugar frequently, the mood is less stable, their stress tolerance is lower, their motivation drops, their emotional baseline declines. No one tells us this, people. No one tells us this. And of course, if you're a multi-million-dollar, trillion-dollar corporation, why would you? Why would you tell people this? Not only the food corporations that deliver and produce the food, but the retail corporations that house the food and warehouse it and sell it to you, right? Why would any of these people along the quote-unquote food chain, no pun intended, why would any of them educate you on this? And then this is why we have a country the way it is. When we have a snack and chip aisle more massive and tended to than the produce aisle and the meat aisle and the dairy aisle. You know what I mean? Like there's a battle going on in your grocery store. There is a silent corporate battle going on in the grocery store. And I'm making you aware of it. I'm preaching the gospel, baby. I'm preaching the gospel. Cutting back doesn't just help physically; it restores emotional control, focus, and mental clarity. So not only so it restores your gut health, it restores your hormonal health. I've dealt with people like this in the past, but you see some fat people who have hormonal issues. You know, they grow hair in odd places. No matter what they do, you know, they can't burn fat, they can't lose weight. You know. These are hormonal issues. And a lot of this comes from, a lot of this stems. Some of it is genetic, but some of it also stems from their nutrition, and ultimately sugar addiction.